Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is Connecting Communities with Brian J. I feel super weird without not saying somebody else's name on there. This is the first time that I'm hosting solo. But I'm not solo today. I've got up there Nick Davis. Good afternoon, morning, possibly even evening, Nick Davis.
What's up, man? So how are you doing?
So as I was about to hit record, ladies and gentlemen, Nick and I have not chatted for well over a month, maybe even a month and a half, other than Facebook or other social media likes and so forth. And that was him. He was like, "How you doing?" And I said, as I'm drinking my coffee, "Wait, we'll talk about
it." Anticipation.
Yeah. You know, I'm so motivated. I feel rejuvenated. I feel excited. I feel ready to grow. I'm looking at, what do I want to do next? What do I want to do tomorrow? As you know, I'm always adding new different things to C2. And speaking of adding new things, you, my friend, have added a new thing to your portfolio. Can we talk about it?
A little bit, yeah, a little bit.
And I'm talking about the dancing thing.
The dancing thing?
I'm joking.
I mean, I am a dance instructor. Fun fact.
I know that, I was trying to be funny for you to, go, what do you mean? Yes, listen, you're doing the Lindy Hop all over your grocery stores, okay? No, you've added, all kidding aside, another service, or as I like to say, another conversation to be had in regards to health insurance as well, taking care of yourself, self-care, which is my theme for 2022, self-care. So what is this new piece of information that you'll be sharing in your conversations moving forward?
Yeah, most definitely. So I usually do it by referral only as Legal Shield is what I've added on as well, which is pretty cool, right? So helping businesses stay protected and helping businesses stay on top of things, because as we all know, as business owners, being proactive is so important. Oh my goodness.
Be
right?
Proactive instead of what? Reactive. Listen, I learned that at McDonald's is you always want to make sure you're thinking ahead. I'm always, I got 3 plans and backups in case this doesn't work. So something is going to give. So Legal Shield. So you are with, am I allowed to say their name? Should we promote them? Yeah. I'm charging you for this, Doyle's. My favorite couple, Amy and Todd Doyle. Todd with 2 D's, not 1. And does anyone even spell Todd with 1 D?
I was like Toad? No, that's Toad. Todd. I guess, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that was so cool. And what a great fit. Like, I can see you in their organization for sure. Well, not organization, in their team.
Yeah, most definitely. Because the idea is to provide a full suite of services for business owners that can help them stay ahead of the ball as opposed to behind it, and then also be so prepared that if anything should go sideways, they're good, right?
Yeah. I love Legal Shield. Love it. It has done some well for me in my younger years when I allegedly had a heavy foot. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
Oh my goodness gracious! I love the allegedly part. That was wonderful.
Allegedly had a heavy foot. That's all I'm saying.
Oh my
so
gosh.
Back up, lots of good things happening. We have a magazine that we're preparing right now, which will really connect the community as well as everyone and anyone. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited to tackle Connecting Community solo. So it's the first time. So I don't know. We'll see how that plays out. I don't know if people are going to like me. Okay, so we'll see. If you don't, I don't know. Send me an email.
Oh my gosh.
Here's something that I learned in 2021. Are you ready for this?
What's up?
Are you
What
sitting
you got?
down? Are you sitting down? I always thought the opposite of love was hate. It is not.
Enlighten me, sir.
So this year, I think, as most know, I went through a breakup, and it took me some time to get over that breakup. And even though I was over that breakup, I was still invested in that relationship. And listen, this could be a business relationship, this could be a personal relationship, this could be a family relationship. I mean, this applies to relationships across the board. As long as you're still affected by what's going on, you still have some sort of a feeling, be it hatred, be it love, be it being in like with that individual, or admired, or admired, or whatever that thing is for you. When you wake up and you go, hey, I'm okay with whatever choices that person's making, that's really when the pieces moved on, right? That's really when the when you could, as Elsa says, let it go, right? Let it go. There's a blast from my past. How long ago was that?
Jeez. Man, I don't even know. That was 5 years ago, 4 years ago? No.
God, it seems like just yesterday, doesn't it?
It does. I think that means we're getting old.
Just yesterday. So no, that was something I learned in 2021. And I'm looking at that in all relationships, that you've got to be able to put forth that effort, and really know big picture what's going on, which really is kind of what brought you to the health field and the health insurance piece, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, I've had many different careers over the span of things, basically.
Okay.
I basically started out a million years ago running.
They're gonna say I started out a millionaire. I'm like, okay,
like,
there you go.
Really? And how? Really? And we are not friends. Why? What is this?
Right.
Okay.
We
Joking.
are friends.
But I know we are friends. Oh my gosh. That was bananas. Anyway, so I started out running skateboard shops and inline skate shops, and that was fun. And grew from teeny tiny shops to international recognition, and had clients all over the world, which is cool. True story. This is a fun one. So here I am in my skate shop. This is, in my younger days, of course. So I had like 8-inch Liberty spikes, like literally everywhere in multiple colors. So much fun doing the thing. And these guys in suits walk in, like black and white suits, like Men in Black style, right? And so I was like, hi. And I was like, not your typical skate shop fellows. So I was like, okay, what's up? And they're like, hey, are you Nick Davis? And I'm like, I don't know. It depends on who's asking. Who are
Right, yeah.
And they were like, oh, I need a skateboard for my son. And I'm like, whoa, that is bananas. All right, so let's do it, man. So I take them back to the shop, and I'm running through the counter of like, what kind of, wheels are you going to need for what kind of situations are you on? And, what kind of material you're going to skateboarding on? What's the environment like for different kinds of urethane? And, what size shooters your kid wear for the board size and everything like that, going through all these things. And they're like, oh, yeah, it's a pretty dry area where we're at. I'm like, okay, that's cool. He's like, it's a little sandy. And I'm like, okay. He's like, but it's cool because we're protected, but we're in a commune, so it'll be fine. And I'm like, I was like, bro, a commune? And I was like, what do you mean a commune? And he's like, well, it's not really a commune. It's like just really protected area, And I'm like, I was like, okay, well, this doesn't sound like Houston. Where are you guys at? And he's like, oh, we're in Qatar. And I'm like, you live in Qatar? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, cool. And I was like, okay, so let's back up really quick here. So you live in Qatar and you're in Houston, and you asked for me specifically. How did you find out about me? I mean, and I'm not conceited. I'm just purely curious at this point, know, because this is before smartphones. It was a good while.
So this was like 1900s.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
totally last century. That is so weird to say. Oh Jesus. Yeah. So anyway, so yeah, and I was like, so how'd you find out? And he's like, well, so we used to live here like a really long time ago, and my son still keeps in touch with his friends on AOL Instant Messenger. And so I was like, dating the conversation right there, right? Yeah, you've got mail. So he was like, all right. And I was like, okay, cool. So how did that work? And he's like, so anyway, I go to back and forth to Houston for work a lot. And my son was like, hey, Dad, I need a skateboard. And he said, okay, well, so my son asked all of his friends in Houston, like, where should we go to get a skateboard? And resoundingly, they were like, go see Nick. And so he's like, cool. So when I got there, you came very highly recommended. I have to figure out where you're at, what shop you're at, so on and so forth. So here I am. And I was like, that is amazing. That is so cool. And that's and I didn't know, because I was like, way younger then, but that's the power of as a small business owner, we can harness that and work with it. And that is our brand image. And that is some really important stuff to carry with us, because that's the power of networking and word of mouth, which is neat. So that was where I kind of first learned that. And then, throughout running the bicycle shops and so on and so forth, I got a lot of mechanical skill on that side of the fence. Grew up working on cars with my grandpa from Indianapolis, so it's race cars thing, and then I also was a biomechanist as well, which is kind of fun. So aligning skeletal structures, making sure that everything fits okay, and making custom-made orthotics and footbeds. So help people ski better, to help people skate better, to help people ride better, stand better so your back doesn't hurt, things like that. So just a bunch of different little bitty teeny weeny specialties. And so after, while I was running the bicycle shop, I decided to put together biomechanics and bicycle mechanics, applied physics and metallurgy, and I became a master fitter, which is lots of fun. And a master fitter is essentially like a clothier or tailor, but just for bikes, right? And so I can fit somebody's skeletal structure to a bicycle down to the millimeter, which is pretty neat. And so it gives people more power per pedal stroke, efficiency, and so on and so forth. And so bespoke custom tailoring essentially is kind of, that's where that came into play, which is really, really neat. And I was able to do that for some professional athletes, semi-professional athletes, and about maybe, a few thousand other people here in Houston, which is really, really fun. So, and while I was doing all of that, I was also a dance instructor for Lindy Hop, which is swing dancing, for all of you out there that are unfamiliar with what Lindy Hop is. And it was lots of fun. I became one of the 15 best dancers in Houston for a while on the Houston Swing Dance Society Hepcats, which is cool. So it was internationally recognized and represented. So that was neat. And then I was also in a band for a while, and I did gigs, tours, shows, albums, record labels, whole 9 yards. That was lots of fun. And so then, as I'm this master fitter doing my thing, I get recruited from one of my buddies. And one of my buddies was like, hey, Nick, do you ever think about things that you're not doing right now? And I'm like, bro, you're going to have to be more specific. And he's like work-wise, do you ever think of work-wise things? And I'm like, bro, I have ADHD. My brain does not stop, like ever. It goes like a million miles an hour. And he's like, all right, cool. He's like, would you like to get paid to break things for a living? And I was like, wait a sec. Who wouldn't want to get paid to break things for a living? That's amazing. So I entered the wonderful world of engineering. As a guy without an engineering degree, I have a marketing degree, fun fact. And so I was literally that guy in the laboratory that was following these guys around with a pad, writing down the vocabulary words because I didn't get it, right? But this shows tenacity as well, because 5.5 years later, I went from that guy to running basically the largest oil and gas testing facility in the entire United States, which is cool. Became the authority for the Western Hemisphere of the whole planet for certain things that I was the only person allowed to do, which is really, really cool. And then I got on a team of 4 people. It was me and 3 other people. We were doing some of the most advanced metallurgical testing on the planet, which is neat. And so like my last project basically it was 38 different countries, and including top secret contracts for the government here. And then I essentially I wrote an operating procedure and a method document for measuring the stretch of material using light waves, which is really cool and super geeky and fun.
Okay.
And so when I got late,
how do you connect from one to the other? I mean, now you're going into the health insurance and the health aspect.
Exactly, right? And that's exactly where I was going with that one, because when I got laid off, I was, it's the company acquiring things and so on and so forth. And, we all went through it at some point in time in the oil and gas industry. And so I was like, well, if I work for myself, I can't lay myself off. So that's technically you can fire yourself every day, but you got to remember to rehire yourself. It's really important, right? So then I was like, how is this going to work? So as I'm going through all of the documents that I'm going through, the COBRA documents and things like that, I was like, this is really expensive. It really is. And I don't get very much of it, to be honest with you. And so I talked to the COBRA people. The COBRA people were like, Nick, you need to go to the ACA, the Affordable Care Act. And I was like, okay, They're like, it'll help you out. And I'm like, okay. So I thought that was the end all be all for everything, right? So as a person with like basically no knowledge in is anything health wise, I looked at it, I was still very confused. And I thought to myself, I was like, look, I mean, if I've done all of this stuff and I should not be confused about health insurance. Like it doesn't seem that difficult. But really, when you get down to it, you're like, what does this all mean? I didn't even know the right questions to ask. And so started thinking about that. I'm dad of triplets, of course. I got the girls, and I was like, well, how am I gonna do this for my family? And so I am one to, if I don't know the answer, I'm just gonna go figure it out. And so I did. I did a whole lot of studying, a whole lot of testing and certifications. I got fingerprinted by the FBI even. And now I'm regulated by the Federal Trade Commission. And so I figured out health insurance, which is great, right? And so now I'm able to reverse engineer that and come up with plans and combinations of plans that fit people's budgets, that fit people's lifestyles, that fit companies' plans to help them succeed and be more attractive to others, which is super cool. And I use all of the experience and different aspects of previous careers to culminate to do that, to bring it into health insurance, to give me different aspects and different views on different things, if that makes sense, right? And just adding Legal Shield in there is very handy as well, because it really helped me out, just like it helped you out, which is cool. Like when I was laid off from that company, I had a stack of NDAs, non-disclosure agreements that I had to do, and I was like, what do I even say? So I got with the Legal Shield guys, and it was so cool because the guy was super chill about it, and he was like, yeah, man, give me an hour, and he like literally read through all of them and called me back. He's like, just don't say this, this, and this, and this. I'm like, oh, awesome, cool. So it worked out pretty darn well, man. So I hope that did I answer your question okay?
You did, and it actually led me to the next is confusing, right? So you get all those papers and now you're confused. And I think what confuses a lot of other folks is when these letters are mixed together, like HMO or PPO.
Most definitely. So yes, HMO, Health Maintenance Organization, right? And PPO, Preferred Provider Organization. Now they are two sides of the same coin, because the same coin's health insurance, right? But the two sides, different stuff, right? So the primary thing to look at on HMOs is restrictions, right? So there's a catch, right? The catch is, you might be able to get a subsidization from the government. So the government might pay for part of your health insurance, depends on where your income is and so on and so forth, right? But the catch to that is the HMO gets to deem what's medically necessary in most cases, which is scary because they are an insurance company. They're not doctors, right? It's not a thing. And the other thing about it is HMOs are geographically restricted as well. So they're state locked. And so if you're on an HMO and you leave your state, you basically have no health insurance, which is a crazy, crazy situation. You've got like intense emergency coverage, like, oh my God, Brian's gonna die. Let's get him to a hospital. His HMO is going to allow him to get into the hospital. It's fine. But you should bet your bottom dollar they're going to charge you an arm and a leg because you're out of your network, so to speak. Right. Now there's that. And there's all different kinds of, stories with HMOs I can go into as well. But those are the big things: geographically locked, and the insurance company gets to deem what's medically necessary in most cases.
Okay. What about public and private?
Yes. So on public versus private. So public will be the main marketplace, right? So your ACA, Obamacare, so on and so forth. And in most states of the union, don't even have PPO coverage, which is unlimited in nation. Go anywhere in the United States, any hospital, any doctor you get to pick, right? Most of them have the HMOs and EPOs on there. And an EPO, by the way, didn't do that one. That's exclusive provider organization. Essentially, it's more restricted than an HMO, essentially. But that would be on the public side of the fence. On the private side of the fence, there are going to be other options as well, right? So the private side of the fence, depending on what's available in your area, you could have better plans than, or I wouldn't say better plans, but plans that might fit your situation a little bit better than a marketplace plan, which is pretty great, right? There are PPO options available that usually are between 30 and 40% less than what you can find on the marketplace. On the private side of the fence, if you know where to look at, just over here.
Are you okay?
I'm sorry, I had something in my throat. Yeah, sorry.
Well, let me ask you this. We're always hearing sign up now, go here, don't go there. Now with the law in effect, it's cheaper. And then you see the person going, I just got health insurance and I don't have any monthly income. Or you have the family that goes, now we pay $87 a month. Can I only join? Did you like my acting? We only pay
It was
$87
wonderful.
a month.
I was like, oh, that's fantastic.
Can I, like a bobblehead, right? Can I only join during open enrollment? When can I say, hey, Nick, I need it now? Like, am I in the ER giving you a call? What's going on?
Right. Okay. So when to join? Open enrollment is actually still going on. It's through January 15th, which is great. And so as long as you can sign up for a public plan before January 15th, your plan would start on February 1st, which is great, right? So public plans are going to be marketplace restricted. So you can get on them. You can sign up for the plan during open enrollment, only for public plans. For private side of the fence, 24 hours a day, 365 days a week, 7 days a year. 7 days a year, that's funny. I messed that one up, but I think you know what I mean. All the time, right? Public plans are available.
Okay. And I just lost my job. My kid needs braces. I guess I probably shouldn't cancel if my kid needs braces, but
True.
what happens if, unfortunately, I'm just not able to fit this into my budget currently?
Sure. As in terms of Cobra, I'm assuming, or
Sure.
just in general, right?
Sure.
Fantastic. Okay, cool. So I'll revisit to where I was when I was laid off, right? So Cobra, it's 102% markup from where you were previously paying, right? Because it is your portion plus the employer's portion and a nominal is what they call it, minimum 2% stitching fee. So Cobra can be very expensive, right? Depends on your situation. It might be, depending on the company you're with, might be affordable, might not be affordable. 9 times out of 10, it's very, very expensive. So meet with an advisor. I'm happy to go through that with anybody to see if that's actually going to be a good fit for you. If it's not going to be a good fit for you, let's assess the options. The options would be, if you are losing coverage, that is a special enrollment period, an SEP, special enrollment period. And so if you're losing coverage, then the marketplace can open for you. That's like one of the exceptions, right? And if that's the case, you can look into the marketplace. Now, for those families that are like, hey, I'm paying $87 a month for my health insurance, they're getting a subsidy. And that is based on your income, right? If your income is too high for a subsidy, you won't qualify for those plans. And that's okay. Totally cool. Because remember, on those marketplaces, you're going to have HMOs and EPOs, and that's going to be a geographically restricted plan where the insurance company gets to do what's medically necessary. On the private side of the fence, there are PPO plans that are available. As a matter of fact, I work with one of them specifically. That is and they're backed by the biggest health insurance company in the world, which is massive, and then put you on the biggest plan in the US outside of the marketplace, which is a big deal. And so getting PPO coverage is important because you can pick your hospital, pick your doctor, so on and so forth, right? But most importantly, it's finding something specifically tailored to your situation. Now, if it's an income thing, marketplace. If it's not an income thing, more than likely private side of the fence. Depends on what your situation is.
You've used that C word a couple of times in our conversation today. And I don't, for folks that don't know you, they don't realize on how authentic you are when you talk about customization, right? I said that really nicely, customization. I was in my head going, slow it down, try to say it well.
I was like, what C word is he talking about?
So you do that with your relationships as well.
Mm-hmm.
I've been able to sit back and watch you do that. We network in a group together. You're going to see your logo popping up, which is HNP. And I'll be. I feel like I was Whitney for a minute.
Right.
I co-host with another friend of ours, Davida, and you'll pop into a room and I'm like, oh, there's Nick. There's Nick. Nick's here, right? There's signature branding things with Mr. Nicholas as well. And you haven't done it today. You didn't do it. Are you not doing it for 2022?
Yeah. Whoop, whoop.
There it is. Yes. I'm going to say, did we lose it for 2022?
No, not in the slightest.
Well, listen, I appreciate your time. I appreciate your energy. Nick, what is it that you would like to leave as a lingering thought for someone that was watching or listening to this on their drive to work?
Awesome. Lingering thought. Health insurance does not have to be complicated by any stretch of the imagination. Reach out to me. I'm happy to help. You can contact me 832-671-1700 or nick@reclaimyourpremium.com. Heaven forbid you can type in #reclaimyourpremium to LinkedIn or Facebook, and that cues out my neat videos, and so you can contact me there. And you gotta have fun. Life's too short not to. And there is a solution for everything.
There's a solution for everything. Speaking of solutions, are you ready for a question? We're gonna ask this question of all of our guests. Are you ready? You're our first guest of the new year, so you get to know what this is. So when you walk into a room, what song is playing in your head?
I don't know. It depends on the room. Depends on the day. I have ADHD, so like all of them play at the same time, if that makes sense.
Totally. Pick a song.
Man, I don't know. Well, I tell you what though, since you had your that one's in my head right now, which is great.
There it is. Okay, fair enough. Here's a true story. Several years ago, I ran as a candidate nominee for Man of the Year for LLS. And during banquet night, they were coming to us and saying, hey, what song do you want us to play when, we announce you and you get on the stage? And, I'm a pretty comical guy. And I'm like, R. Kelly, I Believe I Can Fly, right? So, we're talking, everything is just going, and we move on to another subject, and 2 months go, and, we all raise our money, and it's banquet night, and all these powerful songs are jamming it up. And then all of a sudden they go, and Brian James Roush, and all you hear is, I Believe I Can Fly.
Dude, that is the best.
It was so somber after everything, jamming it up, and then there's this calmness. And I'm like, that's me.
That is awesome.
Yeah,
that
that's
is wonderful.
The same year that I may or may not allegedly had too much to drink, because I was enjoying the evening and I took another gentleman's shoes. Nick, they were pink and sparkly. So we swapped shoes. And I went on stage in these shoes. I may or may not have fallen off stage because I was allegedly drinking too much.
That is
in my defense, it was the second year. I already knew what to expect, and I wanted to enjoy the evening, because the year before I didn't get to enjoy it because I'm like, am I going to win? How much money did we all raise? It was the finale night. But this year I didn't care. I was enjoying the whole experience as an all-star, and the alcohol that was being served, and my pink shoes. Not even my pink shoes. Somebody else's. They were yeah. They were on point. So, well, with that being said, we're gonna go and close that up. Don't forget, you want to reach out to Mr. Nick Davis for your health insurance needs, for your health insurance questions, for your legal shield aspects, as well as just to chat. Listen, if you like bananas, talk to Nick, because he likes bananas too. We appreciate your time. We appreciate your energy. We look forward to seeing you next week with a new improved guest. New improved. Actually, it's our buddy Alan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, because Nick was not a good guest today, apparently, so we're gonna improve it. Thank you so much. Have a great day, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, bye, guys.